Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Martians and aliens. We're not speciesists on this channel. Everybody's welcome. My name's Alan, and welcome to Mars, the second Genesis. Okay guys, we're going to continue on to look at the Perseverance rover's images from Sol 143. And this is the panorama here. And I'll just give you a pan through so you can have a wee look at it. It's quite a long panorama, so there's a lot of anomalies. So we will have a few episodes here. This was the area on the last video we looked at. There's anomalies all over here, guys, especially at the back. Told you it was long. This is the first image we're going to look at, and I'll give you the customary pan through, shall I? And just to remind you that all the images studied in this video will be made available from our Google Drive, and the link will be in the description, along with the link for Stereo Photomaker, which I would recommend you to download to view the images. This is a program I'm using to show you the X3D images, and you can move about, pan and zoom in and out the same way I do. Oh, and it's free. Here's the darker version. So we can see here that these parts seem to be on some sort of plinth, raised from the ground. And we have this so-called sand dune, which is perfectly straight. But all the things around here seem to be raised off the ground. And this piece at the back seems to be at an angle. We'll start at the left-hand side. Now this piece I found very interesting. It's bell-like shape with what looks like a fin. I'm not saying it is a fin, it just looks like it. it's got markings on it, and it seems to have some sort of lip here. And the most interesting thing about this is this actually looks as if this part is hinged. Moving on to this piece, if we look at the shape of this, the way it curves, and it's got some sort of carvings or ornamentation, it could possibly be architectural detail. We have these two pieces here. Again, could be carved architectural detail, with this bit hanging down. Seems to be attached to this square piece here. We'll get this thing here, whatever it is, and we'll get this thing sticking out like a tail at the back. And again, we'll have a look at the darkened version, and we can see plinths here are all raised off the ground. Look at all this at the back. Could these be the top of structures? Could they be just sculptures on plinths? Our next anomaly, I'll just pan through the image as usual, just to let you have a wee look. And we have this perfectly shaped sort of oval. It's got like a fin at the back with an eye. It looks like a dolphin. I'm not saying it is a dolphin, but these have got aquatic looking features. So could they be a sculpture of Martian animals? And if we look at the back, we can see we've got some sort of sculpted head looking thing, and then we've got what looks like a roof. And here's the next level. So this looks to me like the top of a structure. So let's take a wee look at the darker version, see if that tells us anything more. Again, these are up off the ground and they are on plinths, so which would suggest it can either be sculptures or parts of structures. You can see that it's box-like with some decorated piece at the end. So that, to me, I would say that's a structure. And this piece seems to be on, if you look at the whole thing, this could be a structure here as well. And this could be some ornamentation or architectural detail on the structure. So we can clearly see this is not normal rocks. Okay guys, for our next anomaly is this. Now at first you may think this is rocks, as most people do. Well, I don't think so. So let's take some inventory here and we'll zoom in close and examine it. But before we do, I'll just show you the dark version. Now, as you can see, there's stuff below the sand. So this doesn't stop here, it goes right in. And this goes right in as well. It's covered in sand. And this here, it's part of this at the back. And this seems to be part of this. So it seems to be all part of the same thing. So we'll go back to the light bit and we'll zoom in. So what have we got here? Well, we've got 1, 2, 3 slots. And we've got these pieces here. And we've got sharp angles, which normally don't appear in nature. Now this bit here I found quite interesting. If you look at the lines there's sharp angles and almost looks as if it was carved with purpose. And we see some decorative lines. It could be hieroglyphs or carving. And we've got this stuff here, it's got lines in it. And if you look at this here, it's got a line right across. And they all seem to be part of the same thing. And again, we look at the back here, and we can see the way it comes down, and it seems to be split into sections. We've got two pieces here, and this piece on the right hand side comes right through. So it seems to, whatever it is, seems to come through this. And then we've got this triangular piece, which seems to start as a tube and end up being flattened. And if you look at the angles on the front, again, they look as if they've got purpose. So all in all, guys, that is not what you think it is. Again, I'll go back to the dark and you can have a wee look at it. And you tell me, does that look like rocks to you? You can see the carving and the markings a lot clearer in the dark. I've tried to bring as much detail back on the top without dodging and burning, and you can see the sharp angles here. So, in my opinion, that is not a rock. Well, guys, if you uncock your eyes just now, I want to show you something, and I think NASA are taking the piss. I think this is Scooby-Doo here. There's a wee picture of Scooby-Doo. There's the nose. It's not identical. There's his snout, his lower jaw, and his eyes. And there's even the iris in it. Does that look like Scooby-Doo, or is it just a weird-looking rock and it's pareidolia? That definitely looks to me like Scooby-Doo. Okay, guys, you can recock your eyes. So back in the X3D realm, we can see a bit clearer what's on what, and you can see the nose clearer, the snout with the two nostrils, and the mouth. It's even got the double chin of Scooby-Doo. And we've got the eyes. And we've got this piece. No idea what it is, but it's attached to this, which looks quite square. And it could be bricks. There's some sort of what looks like architectural details. Now I've got a wee dome here. I've got that wee bit there. Just various things about it. It certainly does not look like normal rocks. So let's have a look at it darker. And we can see the architectural details pop out. And this here doesn't look like a normal rock. It's got this line across it. And that definitely looks like Scooby-Doo. I think NASA are actually taking the piss. I think they've just put markings on this to look like Scooby-Doo. And the bits at the back pop out as well. It's a wee bit more, this curve seems to be a wee bit more prominent. And we've got this that looks like a wee box thing with a pipe coming out it. Okay guys, you may recognise this. In the last video, I featured, it was just one of my X3D shorts with no narration, and it showed a wee something sitting on a pedestal. Well, this is the same thing, believe it or not. So I would imagine they were zoomed in when they were taking that panorama. Let's have a wee look at this in a darker version first. We can see here below the CGI sand, there is something there. If you look at this, 1, 2, 3 arch-like things could be windows. And we can see this looks like the roof of a structure sticking out. And this could be architectural detail. We'll zoom in and have a closer look. It'd be better to do that with a lighter version. Zoom in, take a closer look. I don't know what it is. My wife thought it looked like a chick, small bird. This, I believe, is wood. This could be the wings. It could be just a sculpture, architectural detail. Now this is quite interesting. This could be the door, because it looks sort of hollow. And again, this would tie in with the idea of steps. We've got some lines here. Could come up and in the door. Now let's just say there's predators, as some anomaly hunters believe that there's like raptor type creatures, predators, roaming about the surface of the red planet looking for something to munch on. Now, I would imagine that there'd be nothing worse whilst you're having your dinner, sitting at the table with your family, and a velociraptor bursts in the door, takes one look at you and decides, I'm eating that bugger for dinner. Or maybe it's during the long winter evenings after a long dust storm, and you're trying to drain the dregs from that last can of Carlsberg, and then all of a sudden the door bursts open and a velociraptor charges in, jumps on top of you, and the last thing you see is his big teeth before lights out. So maybe that's why they have the door on the roof, so that doesn't happen. And then there's this one. What we'll do is I'll zoom in and I'll pan through it for you. This is our main anomaly. So before we examine this, let's take a wee look at the darker version and see what we see. I think this is very important to pan through this. Look at this bit at the back. Almost looks like a pyramid. We've got these parts here. I mean, guys, anybody that thinks that's rock is in cloud cuckoo land. And these parts look as if they're on a plinth, or it could be the top of a structure. You can almost see the top of what could be windows. We've got this piece here, and this. So we see we've got a couple of sort of tubes sticking out, and it's layered. And we've got this centre piece here. This almost looks like a hand. And then there's this, could be a structural beam. So let's look at the light version again and look and see what we can see. Looking at that, I think this is metal, and NASA's put a texture over it to make it look like it's a rock. I don't think this is rock. Could be, I could be wrong, but we've got these two parallel pieces, could be walls. If you look at this piece here and the bit at the back, that definitely looks mechanical. So I would think that would be metal or an equivalent material. Okay guys, let's take a closer look at the overall area that this is in, because we'll be able to see that it is angled. So we'll start at this side. This is what I normally hear. So let's look behind it. I'll just scan through it for you quickly. And you can see this is a pretty steep angle. There's a lot of anomalies here. And there's Scooby-Doo there. Right, so that's, we can see that's at an angle. Now, let's go a bit darker, shall we? And we'll zoom in and look at it again. And we can see that it's not only at an angle, we can see there's lines running across. Can you see that? They've tried to hide it with putting this sand here. But you can clearly see there is lines going across. What I'm going to do here, guys, is we'll take this to extremes and we'll look at it in full black and white. So as you can see, there's a hell of a lot going on in this image. It isn't what it seems. Now look at the lines are popping out, and you can clearly see now things a lot clearer. This piece looks stepped, and it seems to have like sculptures or architectural detail. And as we get up here, it just, look at that, that's a straight angle there. And NASA's tried to break it up, obviously putting sand in between whatever these things are. You can clearly see that there's something going on here. It's architectural. I mean, look at this area here. I mean, my God. What I'm going to do is show you the same thing, only with a bit of blur in. And look at it now. Look at this area here. It's stepped, almost like a step pyramid sort of thing. And we've got the same here. Look at this. Look at that line going right across. We'll zoom in here and look here where it stops. But we can see a lot is going on in this image. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. And look at all this here. Hey, look. Look at this bit of the front. I mean, this no longer looks like rocks. It looks more like mechanical or structural ruins, especially this bit here. None of that looks like rocks now, and you can see what's below the sand. Look at this piece here. I'll zoom in, let you see it. Now that's definitely not a rock. Zoom back out. Although it's blurred, it looks clearer than the other mono image. What it's actually doing is it's taking away the distracting elements like the grain and the noise and the garbage NASA's put in. We're now seeing it for what it is. Now, obviously this is just a fraction of what's there, because NASA has butchered this image, but I'm pretty good at bringing out details. It definitely does not look like rocks to me. You look at that area there. I think this is two separate structures. Now, if we examine this one here, look at the way this goes up in steps. It goes up like stairs, almost. Looks like a bit of a step pyramid. I would imagine this one's the same. But if we look at the lines, I mean, that's clear indications of an intelligently made structure. All the lines flow in the same direction. So anyway, guys, that'll do it for this video. You can let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.